Here's why agencies, mentorships, and coaches do not work, and why you've been spending and wasting your hard earned cash on these things. Hang on a minute, Chris. Don't you have an agency? Yes, I do. This video isn't about how we are magically different and how we're the best at it, but I want to give you some realizations that, over the last 10 years, I've spent a lot of money, over 120,000 on mentorships, agencies, and courses. And I've came to one big, massive realization, and I want to share that realization with you in today's video. Today's video is all about raising awareness for what you might be currently paying for and why it could be a waste of money. But also, for the next time you go to get help and invest in the business to grow it, maybe you'll be more equipped and you'll probably be less likely to waste money. So let's have a look here. Before we get crazy here, we have to identify exactly why and how service-based businesses actually make money. Like, how do they make money? Because that's probably a very good place to start. Like, if you're looking at getting help with your business, then you first of all have to identify how you make money and how they make money. Okay. And I'm going to really, really simplify this here. So, a service based business only makes money when someone pays. Sounds pretty obvious. Yeah, Chris, of course. They only make money when someone pays them money. So, the only thing that matters really is how close is what you're buying to that moment. Okay. So, how close is that specific exchange of cash, the payment link being sent, Stripe invoice is cleared, the money lands in your bank. How close is the service that you're paying for close to that money? So I'll give you an example of this. If you're paying for a service that solves one problem miles away from the Stripe link being sent and the sale being made, you have to question that. Now, can it be useful? Yep. But the problem then becomes is how useful actually is it? And is it a nice to have? Because in business, it comes to a certain point where you have to look at the absolute must haves and the nice to haves. And trust me when I say this, 2025 was a year for me of spending a lot of money on must haves, nice to haves, trying to fix things, trying to fix our lead gen issues, revenue issues, and spending a lot of money. And then just realizing, hang on a minute, a lot of the stuff that I'm paying for is miles away from the pound. Miles away from the pound. Okay. And you're probably thinking, what is he saying here? I'll explain it. So here's what most companies are selling people. Most companies are selling something that is nowhere near the pound. Okay. They are selling something where the exchange of money is miles away. So first things first, what you have here is brand awareness. So you have examples of this, which is social media managers, social media content companies. They provide content for you. They maybe give you scripts. Maybe they even do content for you. They edit it or whatever. And then YouTube, so maybe they're a YouTube coach and they provide YouTube titles for you, thumbnails, that type of thing. LinkedIn, maybe they tell you how to, post on LinkedIn. User generated content, so maybe they provide user generated content for you and for your business. Creative campaigns, maybe they come up with campaigns for you to create brand awareness. So they script this cool video that showcases your business in some way, whether it's in person or online. So what do you get from those examples? What do you get from social media managers? What do you get from people who write your content for you, copywriters? Well, you get views, likes, and followers. What you don't get is money. So I want you to think about that. I've seen businesses pay like 2K, 3K, 4K a month for a social media manager to post reels. And they'll say, oh, yeah, but I'm doing call to actions and I'm trying to get people to sign up. It's like they are so far away from the pound, it is unbelievable. Because you and I both know that if you're charging a good amount and I'm sure you're an expert, a good business owner, the sale doesn't come from here's a reel and like between that, the sale from the reel gets posted, then someone has to be spoken to, then they have to be sold to, whether that's through handling objections, speaking to them, building trust, or a sales call. So can you see all the things that happen after that reel is posted? Now, in the massively rare instance where you post a reel and someone signs up, but they don't sign up from like middle of funnel, top of funnel type posts where you're just like, hey, here's what our business is about. Here's where you can find us. Here's what we do. They very rarely sign up with that, especially a high ticket program. So you have to consider that when, a lot of your budget is going to a social media manager or someone who creates content for you. So the next thing is traffic. And the examples of this is like Facebook and Instagram ads. Maybe they're running Instagram ads, but it's like traffic only. So they're just getting people to land on your page to maybe follow you or whatever. SEO, like search engine optimization. So you're paying for SEO. Speaking to one of my clients the other day, and this website builder was charging them 3K to build a website. And he had someone currently doing his website. And I said, look, I'll write your whole website copy for you. I'll do it. The girl that was responsible for his website, which is old fashioned, website management thing, she was like, oh, can you please tell him to make sure it's SEO optimized? And it just shows you how far behind that sort of sector is. Anyway, this video is not about this, but so SEO, like you pay someone for you to. It's not even Google Ads. You pay someone for your SEO to be optimized on your site and things like that. Now, can it work for certain sectors? Of course, it can. Website visitors. Who needs website visitors? But people pay people to get traffic. Lead magnets, which is a part of our overall strategy, but it's certainly not something you should be paying through the nose for. So what you get is clicks, leads, and names. So it's better, obviously, than brand awareness, but it's not exactly putting money in your back pocket, is it? So what you don't get is paid clients. Is it part of an ecosystem? Of course. Now, this is where someone like me, my agency, comes in. Now, are we the only one that does this? Absolutely not. But we are very, very close to the pound. Okay, so let me just unveil each part of this section. So we get people ready to pay, and you, as the business owner, or our partners or clients that we work with, they take the money. Okay. So as we get further down here, you'll start to see I've got the amazing £100 notes, Scottish pound notes, that wouldn't be accepted in England. But I want to break down like someone like my agency and how we do it differently from the rest of these content, scripts that are done for you content and all of these types of people. So we get people ready to pay. You take the money. So this is like designing how your business actually makes money, designing your whole business model for you, running Facebook and Instagram ads end to end. So, we can run some traffic campaigns as part of the overall marketing strategy. But fundamentally, 30-40% of that budget is going straight to conversion, how we can get people to tap your front door or, get ready to receive a straight payment link. Writing and editing all content, ad content. So scripting, writing, everything to do with running ads, we do it all. Filtering out time wasters automatically through automations. Like we're in 2026 now. It's like very, very easy to filter out time wasters automatically. Qualifying buyers before they even reach you, like before you've even seen their message, they're all qualified. Following up with people that, are taking ages to reply to the thing that they clicked on, the thing that we built for you, and following up without you having to chase them all the time so you can actually stick to doing what you do best. Booking calls into your calendar. There's a big difference between booking calls into your calendar and your social media manager asking you or your member of staff to do a funny video for Instagram. You get that a lot these days. These social media managers are trying to play to the algorithm because they genuinely don't know how to market. And let me just say this right now. Social media managers are social media managers. They do not know marketing. It's a very, very big difference. Okay. I feel like this video is about them. It's not. It's about people like them. Can they help certain businesses? Of course they can. I just want you to be aware they're miles away from the pound. And ultimately, that's what you're after. Removing DMs, admin, and manual work. So this is kind of three things rolled into one, but the amount of admin that comes with, like, for example, we've got a strategy where we run follower ads. You've probably seen it on the page, and it's great. It works, but it then uncovers more problems because it's a follower. They follow you. You have to engage with them. You have to nurture them. You have to see. You have to then test what opening message actually works. So that's admin. Technically, it's part of the sales process, but it's still admin. So yeah, you want that as part of your ecosystem, but you also want like, okay, I want to be direct here and I want these people ready to speak about joining. Managing systems, automations, and AI. So that's something we do as an agency. We manage all of that. If you've got someone who's just a copywriter or just a social media manager, they aren't going to touch systems or automations or AI, like very, very rarely. And if they do, they may be charging you a couple of £1,000 a month, and that's fine. But where are they in relation to the whole ecosystem? Are they running ads for you? Probably not. They're probably writing copy for email and social media if you're lucky. So you need to think about that. You also like when I list all these things that get you like individual things that are doing for your business, you have to consider the ROI on it. And that's a big, big part here. Like if you look at brand awareness, when are you going to get your return on investment? If someone is charging you for brand awareness and traffic, and they're charging you north of £500. In some cases, it's like 3K for some of these things, like 3K for social media content creation, personal brand style stuff. Like 500 to 3K is a lot of money. And this is where when we bring into mentorships and stuff, like if you think of mentorships, like it's a race to the bottom right now. There's mentors out there charging like three, four, £500 for mentorship. And you just get put in a group and they're trying to share all these things with you. None of it's actually getting an ROI because they don't really do brand awareness. They kind of give you content advice, traffic. They'll help you build a lead magnet. They stay nowhere near the pound, like they're miles away from the pound. So moving on, and let's just uncover a bit more of this as we bring in some more beautiful Scottish £100 notes. So you never touch, if you were a client of ours, for example, you would never touch Ads Manager, you'd never touch bots, Zapier, follow up, and tech. You'd never touch any of that. Now, this is what I'm wanting you to think about, right? Look at your expenses right now and look at what you're paying for. And ask yourself, is there a service where I don't have to touch Ads Manager? I don't have to touch any automations ever? Zapier, bots, follow up tech. If you're on the side of, well, I don't use any of that, then you've got a major problem for your business. Because if you're not using any of that, then there's a massive, it's basically the best way to grow a business is run ads and, have automations. But it's not just the best way to grow a business, it's the best way for you to actually take time off and live a life, is have all of this stuff working for you. And you don't have to learn it all. So an agency like mine just does it all. So moving on again, we go further down and we unveil the next lot of £100 notes, which is the last part, which is our clients. So this is where the conversion part comes in. So, we might offer this in the future, but right now we don't. Well, this is the final piece. This is like you as the client showing up, closing the person and getting paid. That's the only part that we don't cover. Now, what we're going to do when we have the right clients on board, we've got a couple lined up with that, is, let me just unveil the last part. So, yep, our model. So that's essentially how we work it. This is our model working with our clients. And the other thing, like I want to cover is eventually, like I say, I've got some clients lined up for it. We will contribute to this conversion piece. In some cases, with some of our businesses right now, we do, but it's like the way it works, it's different. But we'll be like a flat agency fee for this. Plus, we'll take a percentage on the performance because we can, put our money where our mouth is. But this is it. And to go back to the title of the video was, look, this is why you could be wasting your money on agencies, mentorships, and coaching programs and courses because they're miles away from the money. And look, if you're buying these types of things and they're not that expensive, then cool. Maybe you might learn something, but you've got to ask yourself, like, if something is cheap or relatively cheap and they're promising to make you a lot of money, how far away is the pound? So the main mentorship model is they'll help you with, help coaching your clients. They'll help you, they'll give you content feedback. They'll do a Loom video and say how your Instagram looks. They'll maybe keep you accountable every single month. None of that is moving you closer to the pound. It's all part of running a business. It's part of the whole ecosystem. But you've really got to ask yourself when you're having conversations with the course that you've bought, the mentorship you've bought, the agency you've bought, the conversation should always be about the pound and what the return is. Because if that's not at the forefront of it, everything else is a distraction to make you realize that, we don't really cover that. And I'm only saying this, by the way, I had a mentorship 2 years ago and we were the exact same. It's now just me coming to realize that this is exactly what businesses need. They need you to provide the services as close to the pound as possible. So that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any comments, any thoughts about it, I'd love to see it in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe. Speak soon.